Okay, so we're on our first trip, and let me see, Mrs. Cat Jones is nice and content because we did a practice run, and she's been in the car with me. There she is. She looks a little timid, but she's not crying like she was. And I have her in her crate, but I've been petting her, and she seems pretty calm. I just pulled over in a Stop and Shop. It's a grocery store where I am. And I was gonna go in and buy some like food to munch on the road, but when I parked, I'm like, well, I have food right in my trailer in the fridge and cupboard, so I just grabbed some breakfast food, and I'm gonna get right back on the road. And towing, it's like I'm just driving. It doesn't feel any different than when I'm just driving this 4Runner. It's awesome. I'm just taking it slow. The only difference I notice is it takes longer to brake, which I expected longer, so I'm allowing myself a lot of time to stop. If the light's green and turns yellow, I know I don't have time to stop. So I'm being hyper aware of that. And that's it. My tires looked soft yesterday, but they said 32, and the tires said don't inflate over 32 PSI, so they must be right where they need to be, but they looked a little soft. A lot of cars passing me because the booklet for the trailer said to not go over 65. I'm kind of worried about going over 60. Maybe if I go 65 or 62, the ride will be smoother. I can see the lane to the left and the lane to the right of me, but I can't see, like, what if a cop's behind me and I can't see? Because all my rear view sees is the trailer, so I don't know if one of those, like, if I need one of those mirrors that go out further like a U-Haul truck has, is that going to let me see in back of the trailer? And I have to remember how tall the AC unit is on top of the camper, because I'm not used to not being able to go under things. But I just went through a toll booth and the guy like yelled at me, but I was cruising 5 miles an hour like you do through a toll booth. And I just realized when I went through, it said Easy Pass paid, but I'm like, oh, maybe I'm pulling a trailer and it's more and I'm supposed to go through a different line or something. So I think I might be getting an Easy Pass ticket or something. I wasn't thinking that it's more if you're towing. A lot of people passing me on the right. And I'm not going slow in the middle. I'm in the right lane, and there have been 3 times on this trip so far where people are going in the shoulder to pass me, and I don't like it. Like, I'll be getting ready to get off an exit, and people just speed up and pass me on the right, and it's not cool. I'm wondering if that's going to be a common thing that I just have to look out for and be used to. All right, I stopped at the rest area. I was craving a burger, but I ended up getting different things instead. I had to get this carrot cake because it was looking at me. Couldn't help it. Napkins so I don't get my new vehicle dirty. I'll probably get it dirty anyway. I got this for later because I can't have gluten. The carrot cake too. A pickle to go with my turkey cheddar bacon sandwich. I got myself some water. I had to hook up my brake cable, and I didn't know when I pulled over at the rest area to do that. It said, you know, tractor, or it said trucks and trailers, and I didn't know if that meant like my trailer or like a tractor trailer. So I pulled over there, and I pulled over near a UPS truck thinking it would be safe, and then I got boxed in by 2 unidentifiable trucks. And I felt scared because I was outside between my SUV and my trailer trying to figure out how to wrap the brake cable around itself, and immediately I felt like I put myself in an unsafe situation, and I should have just went where all the cars were and just found a place over there for myself, and if I was told to move, I'd move, you know, because it's just when you're in between trucks, people can't see you. And with trucks running, people can't hear you. But I did have my keys in my hand if, you know, I had to push the panic button or scrape my keys across somebody's eyeballs or something. but you know, when you're squatting down in between vehicles, facing a cable, doing something with your back to whoever could be attacking you. Not that somebody would attack me. I'm just saying I was in a very vulnerable position, and I have to make sure I don't put myself in that kind of position. You know what I like about traveling like this? I can stop whenever I want, and I can go whenever I want. And like, I have the litter box in the car, so Mrs. Cat Jones can go whenever she wants to go, and like, I can drive as long as I want to without having to stop, and I don't have to wait for anybody else. And if I want to stop and eat, I can stop and eat, or whatever. If I want to stop and stay the night at a Cracker Barrel parking lot, I can. Like, it's just like no schedules. I'm so relaxed. I'm so very relaxed, except like the first hour of driving when everybody needed to keep calling me to see if I was on the road yet. And to make sure I had everything packed, and to make sure I was being safe, and to, you know, make sure this, make sure that. It's raining, so I'm pulling the trailer in the rain. I'm going 60. I might slow down a little bit, just because I don't know how slick it's gonna get and how the there's no corners, but you know, it's a country road. Country roads take me home, or down south where it's warm. I'm gonna stop in Savannah. Definitely going to Savannah. Gonna find that glass elevator my mom was talking about. I'll have to listen to the video again and see if she told me the hotel's name. Every exit I'm seeing a sign for the Waffle House. Waffle House here, Waffle House there. Everywhere I look, Waffle House, Waffle House. Over and over and over. I'm glad I left in the morning. I thought about driving at night and sleeping at a rest area during the day when I got tired, but then I'd miss everything. Not that there's much to see, but... And you know, it looks like I'm driving on the Parkway. It looks a lot like New Jersey, except the pine trees seem fuller here. Like, a lot of the pine trees when you're driving on the Parkway seem empty at the bottom and full of pine needles at the top, and I took some video of some, and they're just pine needles from top to bottom, and they're very full, and it's very pretty. So that's the only difference between Virginia A and New Jersey A. Oh, the first time I stopped, I noticed that I was driving with my trailer step out. So when I left the house, I forgot to put it up. And so now every time I stop, I'm doing a walk around just to make sure I didn't miss anything, or anything's hanging or open or anything. I did not see a Welcome to North Carolina sign. And now I'm seeing exits for this town in North Carolina, that town in North Carolina. But I did not see a Welcome to North Carolina sign. Somebody is very curious about the Walmart parking lot. What's going on? What is going on in this place? I just tried to get gas here, and I saw that the booth was dark, but every light was on. Pump is closed. Sorry, pump is closed, but we're gonna keep all our lights on and pretend we're open. So good thing you're not under a quarter tank, because your dad taught you never to go under a quarter tank of gas. Keep driving, chickie. Find a gas station that's open. You want to hear why? I am the worst cat mommy ever. 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 I will never make this mistake again. So, I get out of the car, and I put the litter box in the camper, go back to the truck to get Mrs. Cat Jones, pull the carrier out of the car with her in it, and it kind of is top heavy and tips over, and I hear the crate door open and see her run out. I didn't close the crate door all the way, and she just ran out in the dark Walmart parking lot onto the grass. First she went under the car, and then I was trying to get her, and you got to remember, she's a feral cat. I rescued her from the yard, and she's usually afraid of being outside. I open the door and she takes off, and it took me a while to get her back in the camper. And one, I shouldn't be outside wandering around at 4 a.m. in the dark in this strange place I don't know with nobody in sight. But I couldn't leave my cat out there, you know? Yes, I know. I'm a bad kitty mommy. So we're going to clean up this mess and try to get some sleep. Okay, so it's 7:37. I just woke up. Yes, I woke up like this. I just put Mrs. Cat Jones in her crate, and it is closed, so she won't be breaking free like last night. Oh my God, that was so my fault. All right. Brr. All the 18-wheelers left. Just me, I'm the only camper. I know, Mrs. Cat Jones. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. Mrs. Cat Jones, do you need anything? Do you need anything? You want to say hi to our friends? Good morning. Mrs. Cat Jones says good morning. And I wonder if they have coffee in there. Sometimes Walmarts have McDonald's and they have coffees. So I was getting an RV cord, and then this just happened to be with the RV stuff. So I'm like, oh, is that a sign? I think it is. I think Mrs. Cat Jones needs some new toys. Look, it's making that kitty happy. Mrs. Cat Jones needs to be upside down sometimes. All right, the cashier said, here, let's give this to the kitty first. What is it? Do you smell it? The cashier said, asked her the closest place for coffee, because there wasn't anything in the store, and they did have the cold Starbucks things. And I said, where's the closest place for coffee? And she kind of laughed, and she said, right up the road there's a Burger King. And I said, yeah, sometimes the Walmarts will have McDonald's. She's like, you know, we used to have one, but the manager didn't get along with the people that had the store, so out the window they went. And then she said, in the nail salon we used to have, the manager didn't get along with them, so they got rid of them too. And I said, that's interesting. And she said, yeah, it was too bad. And I said, yeah, I bet it was good for the employees to, you know, have the restaurant right there and get coffee and stuff. And she said, yeah, it was nice, and now we don't have that. And then I started talking to her about maybe they could do the photo center. And she's like, oh, we have a photo center in the back, but we don't have 1 hour photo. I said, no, they used to take the pictures of the babies, the portraits. And she's like, oh yeah. I said, yeah, when my son was a baby, it was like $6.95, and you can get your portraits done. And I would get portraits of my son every month from his first, I did the whole first year, and then I don't think I did the second year. Maybe I did the first year and then 6 months and then 2 years old. And I did him at Walmart for $6.95 a month because that's all I could afford. And I'm so glad I have him in an album. And then Frankie's first year, I had my professional gear. So I took my own photos. Look at that. See how things change? 7 years later, I think Trevor was 7 when I had Frankie. So from being a single mom and not being able to afford baby portraits to owning my own business and owning my own professional gear and taking them myself. That's pretty amazing when you think about it, right? From low income, putting myself through college, to owning my own business, my own wedding, successful, award-winning wedding photography business. Wow. I was doing pretty good for myself. I was doing pretty good for myself. All right, I'm gonna find some coffee at Burger King down the street. Okay, I found something even closer than Burger King and even better than Burger King. Got a giant coffee. And what could be better than an eggy sandwich? Bow, chick, bam, bam. A donut sandwich. A donut sandwich is a donut in between 2 donuts. That's what a donut sandwich is. And I'm going to eat them. And I'm just going to open the bag and pop them in my mouth all the way there. That's what I'm going to do. So good. So good. All right. Driving for reals now, peeps. Driving for reals. It's one thing if you're driving a car, but if you're towing something, because you're on a main highway like this, there are like big potholes and shredded tires that popped off of trucks, and you really can't see these things at night with the rain and the darkness, and there's no street lights, and because there's other traffic, you don't see them with your headlights until like the car in front of you passes them and you're right on top of them. So in the daylight, it's much easier to see road hazards. But it was good having Waze, because Waze tells you when road hazards are coming up as long as someone else reported them. So that was a big help, because if it said pothole ahead, I was being aware, hyper aware, and looking for that. But it's so much easier and relaxing to drive when you can see the road well. We're almost there, Mrs. Cat Jones. A little bit longer, okay? A little bit longer, baby kitty.